tradition flow inside my DNA. I was born like this and sworn like this. Immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this. Was Yaoshu a new weapon? I don't contemplate, I meditate. Then off your head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got realness. I just kill cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. I got dark, I got evil that rot inside my DNA. I got off, I got trouble, some heart inside my DNA.
KBLA Talk 1580. It's like a lineage song, y'all. Happy Freedmen Fridays. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. I got my ancestors in my DNA. It is the blueprint. Whether you want to weigh in on our reparations conversation of this week or the past week, whether you want to talk about something else, you are invited to call me. As I mentioned earlier, I have just me, you, and the telephone in this hour. So I'm offering amnesty for those who have called early in the week. I invite you to call back again at 800-920-1580 if you have another thing to say. And we are seeing some movement. Caribbean leaders say they are not backing down on their pursuit of reparations for enslavement. They say there was a meeting in Barbados of CARICOM, the heads of governments in the Caribbean who are seeking reparations, Barbados, Antigua, Barbuda. They say they're not seeking a handout. What we are seeking is final resolution of an issue and a reset of the relationship between the Caribbean and Europe, one in which there's an apology for the wrongs of their forebears and some form of restitution. That was our Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Brown talking. And so while we mostly focus on our Freedmen Fridays on U.S. reparations, because that's what many of us are working on, this is actually a global movement. And it's interesting to see how the momentum is increasing in the United States and worldwide. Millions of Africans were kidnapped and forcefully transported to the Americans during what they like to call the triangular slave trade or the sale of human beings. This went on for centuries, and millions were sold, millions more. According to some estimates, it's anywhere between 5 and 100 million. You got to think about all the folks, not just the ones that were sold, but the ones that perished. What my dad, the late great Amiri Baraka, used to call the railroad of bones in the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. A railroad of bones, our ancestors' bones. That's that DNA that Kendrick is rapping about in that song. And so the Caribbean leadership still pushing the line. They're holding the line in a way that is important. Meanwhile, in the United States, city after city, I'm tracking this, and it's even hard to keep up with it. I mean, last week, Santa Monica said they're seating a reparations task force right now. And you can apply for it. A slate of bills brought back by California, by the California Legislative Black Caucus, as they said they would. They have brought back. Now, you can agree or disagree, but they have definitely brought back a bunch of reparations. Brought back, some are new. Legislation. We were arguing about that, me and Chris Lodgson, last week. If you missed that conversation, it was quite a spicy one. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. They're also available on YouTube. They all live on YouTube. They're free. And all of our Freedmen Friday conversations are there. We had Anthony Browder. We had so many. Cheryl Grills has done the show, of course. Camila Moore. So many folks. So you can go back and listen if you want to have your own educational series about reparations. It is there. But I do think it's worth noting that our black lawmakers who had such a big fail last year in not bringing these bills up for a vote have at least been bold enough to bring up a new set of bills, even with what's going on in Washington. I think that is important. They're basing them on the recommendations of the task force. Some are better than others. And then, of course, as you heard last week in our lively conversation, there are competing bills for an agency. There is one for agency for descendants of slaves, which has been put forth with the California Reparations, with the CLBC, to create what they are calling a bureau. And then there is the one that's been put up by a white Republican, Bill Asaley, along with the support of CJEC, which calls for a Freedmen's Bureau. Worth noting, though, and as we went into ad nauseum last week, I suggest you go listen to that podcast. I'm not going to recap the whole thing, but Bill Asaley is a white Republican who's never passed any bill. Nothing. No, not even a tie your shoes bill has he ever passed, because we have a super majority of Dems in California, and also because, he just hasn't been able to do it. I think he's playing us. I think he's trying to play us, but others feel that he can somehow miraculously pass this bill. He's also gone on record on Fox News and Spectrum News, clearly stating that he doesn't support cash payments, saying basically that he's Trump's best friend and he loves the Trump administration, claiming that reparations means he's giving us access to great things like voucher programs and opportunity zones. And as Mr. Lodgson and others in CJEC have clearly stated, they feel strongly that they can get this bill passed in California. I hope, I wish more power to them. I don't see it happening. Democrats are not going to defy the Congressional Black Caucus of the state of California when they have their own agency bill on the table to side with a Republican who's never passed a bill. It just strategically doesn't make sense. I understand I understand people's upsetness at the fact that the CLBC seems to have teamed up with Yvette Carnell and ADOS, and she was crowing about that on YouTube. I understand that she is taking credit for the work that CJEC and other California community-based organizations and grassroots activists around reparations have done. I'm clear on that. I'm not taking anything away from CJEC and the work that they've done to get us where we are today, or the work that so many others, Black Lives Matter and others, have done to get us where we are today. And I understand why folks would be upset with the CLBC for choosing to team up with ADOS. I don't agree with that move, but I want us to have an agency or a bureau or whatever the heck it is, the fruits of our labor as a standing body of government that is put in place to deal with who is eligible, to deal with payouts, to deal with administering programs that are continuing to succeed and will continue to succeed, whether they come from the grassroots or legislators. You're welcome to call me, 800-920-1580. I always welcome your opinions. I welcome lively engagement, even arguments. Hey, even scrappy fights. Like, that's how we exercise our gray matter and get smarter. Meanwhile, in Crazy Town, the president, still is now allegedly reeling in the Musk stir, Elon Musk. Supposedly, he's now telling cabinet members, "You're in charge, not Elon Musk," even though he gave me $250 million for my campaign, and I've unleashed him to take down all these agencies. He had a cabinet meeting today where he told the heads of those agencies, "You're in charge of your agency." Hilarious that he has to say that. Not Elon Musk. Musk was there for the meeting, but Trump said he's just here to make recommendations. Then Musk goes on X to save face, saying it was a very productive meeting. He's not a member of the cabinet, so technically he shouldn't be in those meetings at all. But he does seem to be in charge, not just of every department, but also of the presidency. Let's go to Dwight calling us from the city of Compton. Good morning, Dwight.
Good morning, Dominique. Thank you for my amnesty call. I appreciate all the work you do, Dominique, and thank you for honoring the black politicians that opened the door for so many of our politicians today at the Hammer Museum. And thank you for the information you've given us on reparations. And I want everyone there at KBLA to get a peaceful weekend rest. And you deserve it, Dominique. You deserve it. And I just want to remind us, Dominique, we only have 7 days until the Republicans try to pass the Project 2025 budget on March 14th. So I'm asking all the I'm going back a little bit, the KBLA family to please contact your Congress member at congress.gov. Call them at 202-224-3121 and tell them to stop Elon Musk from destroying our government by firing all the federal workers that serve the American people, and don't pass anything that has a $4 trillion tax cut to billionaires that already have more than they need by destroying all the agencies and taking away all the departments that help the poor and working class people of America. So please contact.
I mean, here's the thing, though, Dwight. Realistically, the Republicans control both bodies of Congress.
Yes.
Right? The Senate and the House. They are not getting meaningful resistance from Democrats. Meaning Democrats would line up and say, we're voting no on everything you do from now on, no matter what. And they're not doing that. They're not united. The Republicans have shown zero stomach to do anything other than lick Trump's boots. And I was going to say something else that started with B and sound a lot like boots, but I'm not, because I'm practicing. The Republicans, many of whom you know better. You look at the old speeches of Marco Rubio when he talks about Ukraine. You look at the old speeches of, well, he was, the disgusting J.D. Vance. They lie. They know better, but they are not showing any appetite to do anything other than lick the boots of the super tan man, Ozempic Trump. And it's
that's why
what is the point of calling our lawmakers if they're just like rolling over like a bunch of little punks?
Well, if we just go to congress.gov and leave an email, call at 202-224-3121 and just keep giving them something to shake them, because on March 14th, they're going to try to pass the budget with this $4 trillion increase for tax cuts for the billionaires. So do whatever we can do everything we can do to stop this, because, I mean, he's saying that we can't. He's firing the X-ray technicians at the VA hospital and the people that sterilize the operating equipment, instruments for operations. I mean, they just going all out to destroy everything that we worked for so hard for since the 1960s and before. So just asking everyone at KBLA family to do whatever little. I mean,
you're right. We can't just roll over and play dead. We got to do something. And people are doing stuff. People are protesting. Tesla sales are down. And I think they're going to continue to tank, which could be a problem for him, because a lot of his wealth at the moment is his loans are backed up with his Tesla stock. So as his Tesla stock decreases in value, it may even get to the point where some of those loans would call for repayment or different backing, which would require him to dip into his richest man in the world money. So all of these things are good. And I think you're right, we can't give up. But I'm just saying it's highly unlikely that budget isn't going to pass. And let's remember, that budget also has cuts to Medicaid, which is health care for kids and impoverished families.
$880 billion.
Yep.
Oh, and Dominique, one last thing. That DOGE department stands for Destroying Our Government Every Day. That's what that DOGE stands for.
I call it Department
of Government Every Day.
I call it a Department of Grifters for Elon, because really what they're doing is cutting jobs while padding the pockets of the Tesla CEO, of the Starlink CEO, of the man who's already got $38 billion in money from our government.
Yep.
And so I think the SpaceX CEO, he's got contracts, he's got conflicts of interest. He's not talking about accountability for his contracts. He just wants to cut government jobs. Yeah, that's where the fraud, that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where that fraud and is. They're looking for us right there in the contracts given to Elon Musk. So thank you, Dominique. Have a great weekend.
Yes, I appreciate you. Dwight called 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580, and you can do the same. People are talking about impeachment. You're right, HW. But he's already been impeached twice. And what has it gotten us? Yeah. Dwight called 800-920-1580. I invite you to do the same. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud.
A great place for progressive politics.
KBLA Talk 1580.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro, 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone, only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Hey, this is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and for over 20 years, Parkside Economic Development Corporation has served Leimert Park and surrounding communities, empowering tomorrow's leaders and changing lives. Parkside EDC has awarded over $400,000 in college scholarships while sharing economic principles of the Big Five of money with students and their families. Parkside EDC partners with organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade to assure our youth have the financial acumen to succeed. Parkside EDC provides families and businesses with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I do appreciate you, and happy Women's History Month. Phone lines are open, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And it turns out I was wrong yesterday, and I love the people I call my shadow producers, Paul Lee and Fahima Sek, and there's others who don't want to be named because they're, shadow producers. That reminded me, that let me know that actually there were 2 Democrats from California who did support the censure of Congressman Al Green for walking out of there. Not for walking out of there, for standing up and reminding Drumpf that he did not, in fact, have a mandate. He barely won the popular vote. And he only did that with massive voter suppression. And, well, who knows? Perhaps history will show cheating. But in the meantime, it's worth knowing that Amy Barra and Jim Costa, both California Democrats, supposed Democrats, voted to censure Representative Al Green. And it is shameful to me. I mean, this is exactly the type of move that makes Democrats ineffective, right? You're not united. You can't even support your own. And then you want to join Republicans in censuring him because what? To prove that you're really a good person, to prove that you really believe in decorum. Well, if that was the case, then why didn't you censure Marjorie Taylor Greene? Why haven't you censured any of these Republicans that are acting out? Why haven't you censured or prosecuted, for that matter, Republicans like Josh Hawley, who were part of the attempted coup on the United States government? I didn't see Democrats trying to do that, but now these two wusses, okay, Dominique, you don't do name calling, sorry. Two people acting like wusses, how's that? Out of the state of California. You want to censure a 77-year-old black man who's standing up against the lies of a man who's coming for our civil rights? That's what you thought was a good idea, Dems? You know what? Forget you. You are the very type of loser, people acting like losers. Darn it, it's hard not to call names when people are, well, acting like losers. The very types that make me want to go join the Justice for All party. Because trust and believe, if I leave the Democratic Party, which I am currently pondering, it will not be for the Republican Party. There's no way that I'm going to join the party of white supremacy, the new Confederate MAGA Doge regime, the party of authoritarianism, the party of oligarchs. Not going to do it. But I could go independent, which would be hilarious since I'm the one that's always saying that independents are really secretly Republicans. Or I may just go and join Cornel West and Justice for All. I'm definitely not joining Green unless we have a Green Party takeover, because I do feel that Jill Stein and her attacks on Kamala Harris helped to deliver the Trump victory, especially if you look at the numbers in Michigan, where I think she got something like 15% of the vote. Might have even been, I don't know, so it might have been even 18. I'm not sure. It was a really big number that she got in Michigan. Without Jill Stein, Harris wins that swing state, right? So, no, I won't be joining Green unless we turn it into red, black, and green and have a black person take over of the Green Party, which is something I actually have been pondering for a long time. I thought it might happen when Cornel West was the Green Party candidate, but then political shenanigans, backstabbing and backbiting somehow made West not the Green Party candidate. He had to start his own party. And then here comes Jill Stein doing Jill Stein again, which is always seemingly to the benefit of not us. Let me put it that way. And I am not alone in looking at the picture of her seated at the table with Vladimir Putin and wondering what it all means. So no, I won't be going Green unless it's red, black, and green. And I won't be going Republican. I'm considering no party preference. That's what I'm considering. As of right now, I am still a progressive Democrat. And if we can find a way to stop the dumb shenanigans of Democrats who love to have a circular firing squad, who love to kowtow to the Liz Cheneys of the world, who like to put forth the most moderate members of their party to do a rebuttal or response, instead of leaning into the progressive wing of the party. In fact, there's all these consultants, and I thought that was so brilliant, the conversation on yesterday about how these consultants are really sort of like the mold inside of the party that's eating away at it, because they want to move more and more into the bland. When Dr. Nicolai Corte was on my show, and he said that the consultants are making many of these decisions. The consultant class thinks that we should lean into the moderate Democrat portfolio. Lean into the Liz Cheney, the so-called disaffected Republicans, which is a terrible strategy that we already tried in the 2024 election, and we already tried it in the 2016 election, and we've tried it again and again and again, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And if you look at what's popular with the people, it's the policies of Bernie Sanders, of Elizabeth Warren, of AOC. If you take away the label progressive, take away the label Democratic, and you just poll the American people on policy over party, it is the progressive portfolio that wins every time. Democrats need to face the music. Perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. We've got news, traffic, and sports right now, but we've got caller amnesty. If you've called again, I invite you back. If you called before, I invite you back again. Let's talk about it. That's what we're here for. We are unapologetically black, unapologetically outspoken, unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. President Trump says there will be an almost 1-month tariff delay on most products from Canada and Mexico. Trump signed an executive order on Thursday that delays tariffs on all goods under the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. SpaceX's latest failed rocket launch rained down debris in the Bahamas and Dominican Republic. Elon Musk's company launched a Starship from Texas Thursday afternoon, which spun out of control and exploded 8 minutes into its test flight. Protesters continue to find their way into the campus of Columbia University. Pro-Palestinian demonstrations took place Thursday at Columbia and its affiliate, Bernard College. The protests come one day after 9 people were arrested at Bernard when police drove out an encampment. And President Trump says he'll probably extend the deadline of the TikTok ban if a deal isn't reached. Currently, the app's Chinese-owned company ByteDance has until April 5th to sell TikTok to someone based in the U.S. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
You can now start thinking about the Lakers as a strong contender for the NBA championship. The Lakers overcame a 10-point deficit in the fourth quarter against the New York Knicks to secure a 113-109 win in overtime at Crypto.com. The Lakers capped a 6-0 homestand and extended their winning streak to 8. Another dominant performance from LeBron and Luka Doncic. 32 points, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds for Doncic. LeBron finished with 31 points, 8 assists, and 12 rebounds. Big test coming up. The Lakers begin a 4-game road trip starting Saturday in Boston, followed by stops at Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Denver. The USC and UCLA women's basketball teams play their first games today in the Big Ten tournament. USC faces Indiana. UCLA takes on Nebraska. The Trojans and Bruins are the top 2 seeds in the tournament in Indianapolis. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to announce that like George and Weezy,
Well, we're moving on now.
earlier this year, we were named a semifinalist for the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025. Wait for it. Wait for it.
You ready?
KBLA Talk 1580 was recently selected as one of 10 finalists being considered for this prestigious award. Hundreds of organizations, institutions, and even cities were nominated in the selection process. But KBLA Talk 1580 has made it to the finals. You're invited to watch live on Wednesday, April 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, as Eco America announces the winner and the runner-up, awarding over $200,000 in prize money. To watch live, just go to ecoamerica.org to register and attend the online ceremony. That's ecoamerica.org. Don't miss the presentation of the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025, Wednesday, April 16th, and wish us luck. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
And look, we have caller Amnesty 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. So I'm going right to Jerry from Beverly Hills. Good morning, Jerry.
Oh, good morning. I'm a little confused regarding the presidential speech and Al Green. What are the rules? Was Al Green allowed to speak if he raised his hand? I'm a little confused.
He was out of order. He was out of order. He was protesting, right? So when you protest, sometimes you do things that, that are not within the so-called rules because you're protesting. He already said he would take his punishment. He said that at the time. He wasn't, he was clear on what he was doing. What I object to is the fact that members of the Democratic Party, who should have also been protesting, the minute he said that, they should have had joined him. They should have joined him. They should have walked out. They should have supported him. But what I'm objecting to is the fact that these Democrats voted with Republicans to formally censure him. That was my problem.
What does it mean by censure? That he can't speak for 6 months or what? I don't understand.
Well, nobody quite understands. I mean, it's more of a symbolic thing, to be clear. So you do have a point there, Jerry. It's more of a symbolic thing, but it's still rare. It's only been done, I think, 28 times in our nation's history, and it's a mark on his record. He could be stripped of his committee assignments. That's a possibility. It's really up to, I think, the speaker, how they want to move forward with that censure. And I actually haven't followed up to see if they're going to strip him of his committee appointments, which would be bad because it pretty much takes away your power inside of Congress. And if you're someone like Mr. Green, Representative Green, who's been in office for a while, you have seniority, so you've built up good committee assignments, which give you some clout. And so that would be bad. But, yeah, that's how it goes. I have a question for you, Jerry, real quick here.
Yeah, sure.
Because we got some other folks on the phone. Do you, I know that you suffer from Parkinson's. It's the same thing.
One of my issues.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
And I have a back injury.
I'm sorry. The Parkinson's is the same issue that my mom had. May she rest in peace. But when you see this administration, this Republican regime defunding research on diseases like Parkinson's that could help people recover or find relief?
Oh, not too good. But one thing I support Trump getting rid of violent criminals in that area.
Which criminals? You talking about immigrants?
Not as immigrants or native violent criminals.
Okay. He says he's doing that, but he just pardoned I think 1,200 people who attacked the Capitol. So I don't, I guess it depends which criminals you want to punish. But I appreciate, you sharing your viewpoint. We'll just agree to disagree on that. And I hope, that you continue to do better and better, Jerry. And I thank you for being part of our KBLA delegation. We're going to go right now to Molly Bell, straight out of Compton.
Reparations in memory of our ancestors. God bless morning to you, Dominique, to all of our listeners. And you may get a little upset with me because I usually, not always, but I agree with you a lot.
Oh, I don't get upset with you if you disagree with me, by the way, just for the record.
Okay, you don't get upset with me.
No, I might argue with you, but I won't. I'll argue with you, but I won't disagree. I won't be upset with you.
Okay. First of all, we were taught that our oppressor cannot be our teacher. And we were taught by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing that we need to fight for the liberation of black people, fight to end the system of white supremacy, and replace it with a system of justice. Emil Cabral said, hide nothing from the masses of our people. Mask no difficulties, tell no lies, and claim no easy victory.
Right.
Gil Scott Heron said, the revolution will not be televised. For me, I think that even when you just said earlier on this show that you might leave the party.
Yes, ma'am.
So then which party would you join that could beat the Republicans?
Well, I'd have to build one that could be. That's the whole problem, Molly Bell. Like I said, well, maybe Cornel West's party, the Injustice for All party. Definitely not the Green Party, not the Republican Party, Queen. You got a point.
And then, and second of all, for me, as much as I love me some Dr. Molina out of this world, I love Cornel West. I love so many of the other parties. After when you have the primaries, that's when you get to see where you stand. After they did not win the primaries, then they should, like you said, make your best option. Eliminate the negative. I'm not going to join the Republicans. What's my best option? It's to join the Democrats. If all of them had joined the Democrats and told the Democrats, look, this is what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. This is what we want. Mm-hmm. And we will stand with you. Mm-hmm. And while we're with you, if we disagree with you at another time, because my mother used to say there's a time and place for everything under the sun. I wanted all of the parties. I wanted West. I wanted Molina. I wanted everybody to say, okay, we fought a good fight, but we didn't win. So what's our best option? What can we do? Either we have these sayings and we obey them, or we adhere to them, or they mean nothing.
Okay, Molly Bell, I'm not cutting you off. I just wanted people to know why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at myself because you're throwing up what I always say, the decision-making process. Eliminate the negative, establish the facts, choose your best option. I'm laughing because you're schooling me using my own rhetoric, which comes from Jim Brown. I'm laughing because I haven't heard the fired up version of Molly Bell like this for a while, and I'm hoping it means that you're getting your joy back. And maybe it means that you need to call me and argue with me every week so we can get your joy back and get you fired up. I do not mind being schooled by a queen,
well,
FYI.
Well, Dominique, first of all, I agree with you every week. I don't. On most of the shows, I agree with you. I'm so glad that you're standing out there. I'm saying that we as a people have got to strategize. Remember, Big Money used to say strategize so we could realize. And, he was...
Oh, she's on one today. That Big Money Griff imitation was chef's kiss.
All I'm saying to us is that when the Lakers, I love me some Lakers and Clippers, and I always say, what about those Lakers?
You do.
Last night, first of all, I didn't want them to get rid of AD. But now AD is sick, and Big Tall, whatever his name is, I'm having to see. He's doing awesome. He's doing awesome. And look at the Lakers. Last night, it looked like they were through. I kept on, and she's calling me, but I'm not going to answer
Doncic, is that how you say his name? Luka Doncic, is that? That's what we're talking. That's
he was awesome. LeBron James, awesome. I thought that they were going to lose. I almost didn't want to finish eating my sandwich. I was just that upset. But I'm saying that we have God on our side. We are on the right side of history. Now Trump, and I'm going to hang up. I've been on a minute. Now Trump, he's trying to get rid of Elon Musk, and they saying that Elon Musk, something blew up in space. They said you could see his Tesla field, where all those cars, nobody is buying them. I'm saying that we've got to we've got to do the things that you said, that Jim Brown says, and you and Jim Brown, you go a long way back
we do.
When he said all that. And so I'm just saying that I want you to. I'm not.
Oh,
trying
that's you,
to,
not me. Okay, Molly Bell. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make up to say anything differently. All I'm just saying is that if all of us Democrats, all of us progressive, all of us everything, and I am progressive because progressive means forward. Anybody who's teaching for us to go forward, that's where I am. And so I'm just saying that I think that we have a chance because we got an election in for 2 years, and it's only for the Senate and the Congress. We can take that and we can kick their backsides because the Republicans are mad too when they out in the street mad with Trump, and Trump is getting rid of Elon, and he's doing different things. He's going to re-talk to Ukraine. So anybody, whatever party, if you stand up for black people, choose the best one and do it. I close by saying, all you prayer warriors out there, and I know you out there, you know what you've got to do. You've got to keep fasting. You've got to keep praying because the struggle continues. But always, and I mean always, to God be the glory. Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you, Molly Bell, Queen of Compton. Molly Bell called 800-920-1580. She's quoting my Jim Brown quote from the America I Can curriculum. It's the decision-making process. Eliminate the negative, establish the facts, and choose your best option. Call me if you want to. We still got time. The best of Tavis Smiley is coming up, but we're live right now at 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look, and unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at the gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event or join a cleanup event near you.
0 litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
I joined the military for my kid and his mom. I miss my son a lot. One of the things with the military is tobacco, but that's how a lot of people try to deal with mental issues. Everyone's vaping constantly. After my first hit of a vape, I was hooked like that. Once I got back home from my deployment, I caught my son trying to hit my vape. That was it. I had to quit.
Isaiah started vaping to try to deal with stress and quit because of his son. Learn how he and other Californians are rising above big tobacco at undo.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on your every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Put a sheet on it. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Put a sheet on it. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Conversation continues right now, and it's continuing in the chat as well. If you haven't tapped in, check out KBLA 1580 on Instagram. Well, we're not streaming on Instagram. We're streaming on YouTube, but we are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. We're everywhere. And I'm there too at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. Congratulations going out to James Farr. He's in the studio. He's launching his new show tomorrow right after Black Lives Matter LA's This Is Not a Drill, which is always an excellent show. So, yeah, a lot of good things happening around here. But we're going to Paul, calling us from Los Angeles. Paul Lee, our resident he's one of our shadow producers. I think he's the executive shadow producer. First things first. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you doing today?
I'm blessed. I'm I'm ready for the weekend.
I greatly appreciate you because stations like this, 1580 Talk Radio, and then you have obviously like Roland Martin and Roland Martin Unfiltered. Give us places that we can come to get very important information and have conversations that we're not going to ever get on white mainstream media. And I want to make sure that we tell you how thankful we are. And also for us to make sure we're doing our part, too, because nobody's going to protect us better than ourselves. So I just wanted to start the conversation today to talk about just in general, how did we ended up here in this kind of situation?
Yeah.
I'm far beyond the orange-head buffoon and those Nazis, because what they're doing, they throw Nazi signs in your face and they tell you not to believe your eyes.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, well, why do you transpire and do that? Well, you do that because it's all about power, control, and the preservation of wealth, right? And what's interesting is, so they're going to essentially cut in this budget about $800 billion in Medicaid. So I want people to really understand what are some of the main things and proponents that are very important to our community, especially for as homelessness percentages are raising and everything. Medicare, Medicaid, and SSI. Those are social safety nets that are essential, especially into our communities, because they cut a lot of jobs don't have pensions. So these are things that we need to live with, especially as the price and cost of living is increasing. So when they're cutting from these programs and everything, that's going to have a a direct impact on our communities. So and sometimes we miss that. I don't care. Our people have moved between parties always, but we've always, and our ancestors have given us the blueprint. We move strategically. The thing that transpired, Dominique, after the Brown versus the Board of Education, after integration happened in our communities, is we forgot that nobody's going to protect and speak up for us more than ourselves. And we stopped patronizing our own businesses. Yeah. And what ended up happening is our dollar left the community. So what we need to do, because I know we talk about the problems and the issues, is we got to come together and start moving on code. If you're anti against anything that comes to us, our dollar doesn't support you. Yeah. Everything does not move on morals, people. And we've had to learn that. That's how we're back here. Everything moves on how the dollar works. These people are greedy. The March on Washington with Dr. King, it was about equality, but the main proponent of it was a march for jobs. What made Dr. King dangerous is Dr. King was able to get across the aisle to those poor white people.
Yeah. A couple things I want to interject. I agree with everything you're saying, really, so much that you've covered. But let's not forget Social Security. Also, we're talking about more people in the streets, people not having ways to support themselves, Black people in the main, but others also, elders, children, and they're making these cuts. They're teeing up these cuts specifically to fund tax cuts for the rich. So the richest man in the world can be even richer. Also wanted to share some breaking news, Paulie. I know you love breaking news. SpaceX Starship spacecraft just exploded during its 8th test flight this morning, disrupting air traffic and marking the second consecutive failure for the vehicle this year. That's according to CNN Science. So kind of a good metaphor for what Musk's we won't call it a train wreck, we'll call it a rocket ship wreck that he's doing with the federal government. This man who is a self-proclaimed genius, who I would argue his main talent is convincing you that he's a genius while stealing money or being a welfare queen on the American taxpayer dollar.
Thank you for bringing that up. I thought that happened yesterday, but just here's my thing.
I said Thursday, you're right. It was Thursday, not today, yeah.
So here's the thing, everybody. Remember when we had the conversation, Dominique, a couple of weeks ago when somebody was talking about, Tesla stock is dropping. I said that doesn't matter because it's the government subsidies and the government contracts. So that rocket, whatever he shoots in the air that just exploded, when him and Jeff Bezos do that, is on your dime.
That's true, but if the stock goes low enough, it could have consequences for his loans. But you're right, it doesn't matter because we're going to pay for it. But it's interesting that this is happening while he's saying that he needs to be in charge of the FAA's air traffic control system.
Right.
He's claiming it's failing and that he should take it over. He says that, Starlink, his satellite company, which is under SpaceX, should take over the FAA's air traffic control system. Well, to me, if this crash should be an illustration of why that's not a good idea.
Right, but Dominique, name me, if this is talking from a historical standpoint, what have they ever created? They're colonizers and they're imperialists. That's a trust fund, baby. He didn't create Tesla, for most people that don't know that.
We know that, yeah. Or PayPal.
Or PayPal. So in the whole message of social welfare queen, how they use that, in reality, no, those social programs, those are essential programs for more white people are on those than anything else. Yeah. But it was just a talking point they use. Yeah. See, we understand these things, Dominic. My thing is, I know we know the problem, everybody, but what are we doing? So when they're pulling money and funding from educating our children, We got to come to bat from that. When they're pulling nourishment from our children while they're in school, we got to make sure we pick the bucket for that, make sure our kids are eating.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we're encountering in real time, let them punch all that out. They're re-implementing Jim Crow. They're removing protections in place. And why did they do it? Because Musk couldn't do these things in the country he was because those countries have regulations in place.
We're going to have to leave it there, Paulie. It's time for Tavis Smiley. But you can call me back anytime. I love talking with you, and I really appreciate the information you bring to the table.
Always, Queen.
Yes, indeed. We got to go because the best of Tavis Smiley is up next, and it is a blockbuster. Let me tell you. Look, I'm gonna go with what Molly Bell dictated, which is Jim Brown's American curriculum, the decision-making process for our closing quote. He says, "Eliminate the negative," and there's a lot of it. Establish the facts. And choose your best option. Like my mama used to say, history is now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. President Trump says there will be an almost 1-month tariff delay on most products from Canada and Mexico. Trump signed an executive order on Thursday that delays tariffs on all goods under the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. SpaceX's latest failed rocket launch rained down debris in the Bahamas and Dominican Republic.